financially support his family members overseas when he knows he's got his own family to support in the UK?
Okay, so with regards to prioritizing or organizing oneself, then no doubt one's wife and his own children have a priority in that if it is the situation where it's one or the other, then your family comes first, i.e. your wife.
No.
But maybe it can be organized or arranged that you can at the same time look after your wife and your children, and still you can give something to your brother or to your other direct family members. And this is min silatul rahim. This is you upholding the ties of kinship, which there is a great reward for. So it doesn't mean you have to do one or the other. It could be that you, if you want to put it in terms of percentages, maybe you give 95% of your wealth to your own family. Just take away 5%, just to give something to some other family member, which may be a lot for them, which may be go a great way for them in their country. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for them. And if the husband is looking after the needs of his family, then we ask Allah to increase them.
I mean, Shaykh, in regards to this, if for example, let's say the brother that he's sending the money to he's not willing to work. He's capable of working, but he doesn't work because he knows his brother is actually sending him money from overseas to support him financially. Can the husband, or let's say for example, the husband himself, continue sending the money although the wife has got something to say against it, like she's not happy with the fact that he's supporting him, knowing the brother can actually work?
Yeah, so I mean, my advice is a general advice. If somebody is not working when they have the ability to do so, really, the money can be given, maybe if he's got a family, if he's got a wife and children, maybe that money can be given to those people who, if they are in need and they're suffering from the lack of effort from the husband.
Sure.
But this is only maybe a short-term solution, is giving them money.
Right.
Because how long are you able to give them money, and is it really resolving their problem? Maybe it's not. So maybe a long-term solution is maybe to speak to that individual and remind him to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to remind him of his responsibilities with regards to his family.
Sure. Khair, barakallahu fi Shaykh. And the next question we have is from WhatsApp again. It's Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. There's nothing good happening in our household, no happiness and no success sometimes. I have doubt as well. What shall I do, or what can I do?
Well, first and foremost, don't despair as to regards your situation. And it depends what you define as happiness or what you define as success. If you have a roof over your head, you have enough food for the day, then subhanallah, you have a great bounty and a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe you are, with respect to other people in other places in the world, you're in a very big ni'mah, you're in a big blessing. You have the blessing of Aman, of security. Nobody's going to enter your home and steal. I mean, it's just, I'm mentioning these things to give some perspective.
Sure.
Not necessarily we have to judge our situation by the worst situations that are going on in the world, but at the same time to take stock about what's happening in our own lives. Now, it's important to identify what you see as the problems, or what you see as a lack of success or a lack of happiness, and what are the underlying causes for what you see. These are the issues, and try to deal with them one by one. It's not just simply stating that I've got all of these problems and there's no success and no happiness, and you just sit there and don't do nothing about it. Try to identify specifically what these issues are, and then going about asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you, and then you making your own efforts concerning that. Wallahu a'lam.
Khair. طيب, barakallahu fi Shaykhana. We have another question, inshallah. It's from, again, email question, inshallah. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My father's bedroom, I always walk into my father's bedroom to put the TV on for him, and I always put the Quran to recite in the background. But because he's elderly, whenever he goes in for the call of nature, he does it in his room. Is it permissible for me to turn on the television whilst I know there's najis in the room?
Okay, so mashallah, may Allah bless you for helping and serving your father in this manner. There's a great reward for doing that. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to make it easy for your father.
Ameen.
SubhanAllah, if he's in this particular state, may Allah Azza wa Jalla reward you and make it easy for him. Third issue is that if somebody is suffering from issues about they're not able to go to the bathroom, but they have some form of answering the call of nature, it might be in something like what they call a commode, which is like a chair
Yep.
where it acts like a kind of a toilet, as it were. But it's done discreetly. It's not done out in the open, as it were. There's like a proper place for that.
No.
Okay. Now, if that is the case, it doesn't prevent you from listening to the Quran.
Sure.
So yeah, that's not a problem, inshallah. If it's done like this, then playing the Quran on the television or something like that for him is not a problem, بإذن الله.
طيب Sheikh, Barakallah Feek. Inshallah, I've got more questions in regards to the Quran being played in the background, but we have a caller. Let's take this caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
Wa alaikum salam.
You're live on Ask Eman. Sister, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is regarding my period. So when I get my periods, I have it for 15 days.
Ma'am.
Then with so after that, the next month I get it 5 days before. So almost I can pray only 10 days a month. So what can I do about it?
طيب. شيخنا.
And this happens every single month?
Yeah, every single month.
Okay, so what I would do, sister, maybe is check to see if there is a medical issue concerning this, to speak to your GP, your doctor, concerning that. It may be the case that there is another issue other than the menses.
No.
Without that information, it's difficult for me to give you a definitive kind of answer as to what you should do, but rather, if you can find that information out, and then after that, built upon that, we can maybe give a more detailed answer.
Shaykhana, let's just say, for example, if not for the sister, but just in case, let's say someone actually been diagnosed and there is a medical issue with it.
Yeah.
15 days, and then they only perform salah for 10 days. Can that continue? Or?
Yeah, so it's not obviously that's not
Yeah.
normal. The fact, I mean, somebody cannot be up to 15 days. It can happen, and that would be the maximum.
No.
Wallahu alam. But then each month it's 5 days earlier, so she's only praying 10 days at a time. So this seems a little bit odd. Allah knows best. This is why I'm saying that maybe it's worth going to see the GP to find out if there is any underlying issue concerning this. No. Wallahu alam.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh, and may Allah reward you, brothers and sisters. Join us after the outbreak, inshallah, for more Ask Eman. Please remember to call in into our center, call in center, subhanallah. Call into our studio here in 0235150769. So for me and Shaykh for now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My respected brothers and sisters, welcome back to your show, Ask Eman, the show where it gives you the opportunity, inshallah, to pick up your phone and call us, bidhnillah, here in our studio on 0203 515 0769. That's 0203 515 0769. طب شيخنا, inshallah, we're going to continue with the majority of the question that we have here. And we had a question before in regards to Quran being played in the background. Now, there's a different opinion that says we shouldn't put Quran on for us to sleep, or to put Quran as a way of relaxing. Now, which opinion should we follow when it comes to putting the Quran for soothing purposes?
طيب. Bismillah. So concerning listening to the Quran, you're right, there are some times when it would be disrespectful, it's not correct to have the Quran playing on the background if somebody's busy with something else. But if somebody is putting the Quran on to listen to it, for them to relax, to listen to the words of Allah Jalla wa'ala, then there's no problem in that.
No.
In that, if a person was to play the Quran before they sleep, listening to it, and then they happen to fall asleep, again, la ba'as, there's not a problem.
Sure.
There's not a person saying, oh, this is disrespectful, you falling asleep to the Quran, as it were. This is, no.
No.
You are listening to the Quran, but sleep overcame you.
صح.
And you fell asleep. The Prophet ﷺ would ask Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu to read the Quran, just to listen to the beauty of the Quran.
Sure.
So with that respect, there's not a problem in you listening to the Quran, to listen to its beauty and to listen to reciter that you like. If that happened to be, is that specified at certain times? No, it is not. If you happen to do that at night before you slept, then la haraj. As long as you are concentrating on somewhat the recitation.
What about an example of maybe when you're actually painting, decorating, or doing DIY, and you put the Quran in the background? Because I've had this, like with my own ears, when people were playing it in the background, somebody walked up to them and said, listen, the Quran is there for you to listen to, not to play it in the background for you to entertain yourself whilst you're doing something else. You're occupied decorating, but you listen to the Quran in the background.
Yeah, I can see how that may seem to certain people.
Yeah.
That if you're doing a job, and then the Quran is being played, as long as you're concentrating on listening, and what you're doing isn't kind of like being disrespectful to the Quran, I don't see a problem in that, to be honest with you. And you might find in certain places there's a Quran radio station.
Okay. Exactly.
So does that mean you can't play that if you're doing your work and you're listening to the Quran?
No.
Or if one of your fellow workers is reciting the Quran?
No.
You say, don't recite the Quran because we're working? No. If you're listening to the Quran, I don't see a problem in that. Wallahu alam.
Barakallahu feek. Shaykhana, next question we have from WhatsApp starts with Assalamu alaikum, brothers. If someone dies in a car accident whilst returning home from Hedge, would that be a good death?
Allahu alam. Allah knows best. If a person dies in a good state, inshallah ta'ala, we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to give us husn al-khatima, a good ending. And if that good ending was that person was fasting, or that person was making dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or that person went on a journey and was sincere, striving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then inshallah, we hope that's a good sign for them. Wallahu ta'ala. It's not a promise or a guarantee for anything.
No.
But inshallah.
So no one should be taking it as a good or a bad?
We can be hopeful.
No.
We can have, it's not for us to say, we just don't know. If a person was in the state of salah and they passed away, so inshallah, it's a good sign for them. Bi'ithnillah. So somebody who'd gone to perform Hajj, which mashallah, no doubt is a great act of worship, and then they were returning from that, and Allah Azza wa Jal had written that they passed away, or they passed away during their return, then inshallah, we hope that they had just performed their Hajj.
No.
We hope that Allah Azza wa Jal would have forgiven all of their sins, and if they happen to pass away, then maybe they died with little or no sin. So we say inshallah. Inshallah is a good sign.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana, may Allah reward you. Next question we have here starts with Assalamu alaikum. I want to ask, what is the meaning of the name Amina? And also, can I keep this name for my baby girl?
Amina. So the one who, you can, for sure, you can keep it for them. So Amina comes from the word secure or safe. So the one who is safe, Amina. she's been secured and safe and something like this, then
Sure.
inshallah that's fine. MashaAllah, that's a good name, nice name.
طيب خير إن شاء الله شيخنا. What is the reason, next question we have, what is the reason for fasting the day of Ashura?
Well, that was yesterday, the Ashura. Maybe there are those who are fasting today, if they have local sighting, wallahu alam. But the Prophet ﷺ told us that this was the day that Allah Jalla wa ala saved Musa alayhi salam from Fir'aun.
No.
And then after that, the Musa alayhi salam, that he would fast this day. And likewise, our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us to fast this particular day. And it also has another benefit, not just that we do it out of remembrance of the blessed day that Musa alayhi salam was saved, but that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that this would be, inshallah ta'ala, a kafara or an expiation for the previous year's sins. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
طيب خير إن شاء الله. بارك الله فيك Shaykh. Next question we have again, it starts with Assalamu alaikum. Is there such thing as a Muslim vegan?
So a vegan it's not just well, it could fall into not necessarily just a dietary choice, but rather is actually a belief that you shouldn't have any animal products. You should not consume any animal products, even milk or eggs.
No.
But we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us, made this halal for us. If a person has an aversion or doesn't like these foods, then entitled to stay away from them, not a problem. But that's not something you should encourage others. You shouldn't eat these products because we shouldn't eat products that come from animals and things like that. If you don't like the food, you don't have to eat it. But it is not allowed for you to say that we shouldn't eat it because it is not right to consume eggs because it's not fair on the chicken, for example.
No.
Or you shouldn't consume milk because it's not fair or not right to take milk from the cow.
No.
Or to eat meat because it's not right to kill animals. And this is not the teachings of the Quran or the Sunnah. But if a person wants to limit the amount of meat due to dietary choices and things like that, looking at their health, they're fully entitled to do that. Okay? But the actual belief that you should not eat these foods because it's not right to, then that's not correct.
Yeah.
No, wallahu a'lam.
طيب بارك الله فيك Shaykh. Next question we have starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This question is from my sister. She is pregnant and sometimes she finds it hard to stand up and pray. When she's sitting down and praying, she feels guilty by performing her salah sitting down. Is it permissible for her to sit down and pray on the day that she finds it hard to stand up?
Okay. So may Allah will make the pregnancy easy for the sister and any sisters who are going through their pregnancy at the moment. Ameen. So the obligation for us during the prayer is for us to stand up. If you're unable to stand up, then you can pray sitting down on a chair. If you're unable to sit on a chair, then you can maybe if a chair like I'm sitting on.
No.
You can sit on a chair like this. Or if you can't pray sitting down, you can pray laying down.
No.
If you can begin the salah standing, then you're required to start the salah standing.
No.
And while you go into ruku', for example, bowing or into the sujood and you're unable to go down, that's when you can sit in a chair.
No.
Okay, and then you go into those positions, bearing in mind, and I've seen this common, that when you go into sujood, that your hands are not in the air. They shouldn't be like in the air like this. They should be on your knees. Okay, this is a common mistake.
No.
That if somebody's sitting on the chair while in salah, that their hands are out in the air. No, that's not correct. They should be on your knees while going in sujood. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
طيب Shaykhana, what's the different opinion when it comes to standing up once you're performing your salah, but when it comes to your ruku' and sujood, they actually sit down. So is this considered as standing up praying, or is it considered as sitting down praying?
Yeah, so fear Allah Azza wa Jal as much as you can. The parts of the prayer that you are required to stand and you can stand, you stand. If the other parts you cannot go into ruku', then you can sit down and just slightly bend forward.
No.
Okay? And then when you go into sujood, you just go down or go forward a little bit further.
Sure.
And that would be sufficient for you because you're not able to. Let's say, for example, maybe a sister's very late in her pregnancy and her going into ruku' and sujood is extremely difficult, almost impossible for her.
Right.
So, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah Azza wa Jal does not overburden any soul. So therefore, it would be permitted for her in this situation If she can stand at the standing position, she stands. But in those positions, she can sit on a chair and perform ruku' and sujood while in the chair. She does whatever she can to the best of her ability, inshallah ta'ala.
But is it considered as sitting down or standing up praying? Because my concern is here now, because obviously they perform standing,
Yeah.
but when it comes to ruku' and sujood, they're sitting down.
Yeah.
Now, is this considered as someone who's prayed sitting down, or does it consider someone
No,
who's
you
prayed
get the full
standing up?
reward. You get the reward as a person who has stood up,
Hel.
has stood up as usual. No, you have an excuse, a valid excuse.
طيب, Barakallahu Fiqh. Shaykh, next question we have here starts with Assalamu alaikum. Is it true that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of the resurrection that He will call you by your name and your mother's name?
No, that's not true. This is not true. You will be called by you yourself and your father's name. No. This is hadith, but the hadith is weak.
Oh, okay.
Yes, hadith. You will be called by your name and your father's name, except those who had no father. Their father was unknown.
No.
Or walad zina, or child of fornication. They will be called by their mother's name. No.
Barakallahu Fiqh. Shaykhana, brothers and sisters, we're going for a quick ad break, inshallah. So join us after that break, inshallah, for more Ask Eman. For me and the Shaykh for now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My respected brothers and sisters, welcome back to your show Ask Eman. So inshallah, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, let's take the callers inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Ask Eman. Hello, assalamu alaikum. طيب.
Okay.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
You on live and ask Eman, what's your question for us today, inshallah?
On the Quran, I think it's chapter 11 or 12, there is a little diamond shaped on a letter. Is there any ruling to this?
What do you mean by the sign? What sign do you see? Can you describe the sign to us?
I know it.
Pardon?
Can you describe the sign to us?
It's just a tiny little diamond on the letter. Like a normal diamond on the letter.
Taib, no problem. My brother and sister, how old are you?
I'm 9.
Did you get a permission from your parents, inshallah?
Yeah.
خلاص خير. We get the answers for you بإذن الله. طيب شيخنا, I do not know what sign that is. I was assuming it's a Jewish sign, but I don't know what sign that is.
No. Okay. So this is in Surah to Yusuf. And this is indicating a particular way of reciting the word, and at the same time how you're going to move your lips. So لا تأمن على يوسف, which is the verse where you say لا تأمن, but above that تأمن, but there is like almost like a wow, but you don't pronounce that, but you do it with your lips.
Okay.
This is the indication that this is what you do at this
This is
particular...
like the dhamma type of style.
No, it's not like, no. But it's the way that you say the word, but the way that your lips will move.
Right, okay.
Okay,
Got
so
it.
it's as though that you're... If you were seeing somebody in the distance, as though they're saying, ooh, but there is no.
Right.
So this is something that you learn
No.
when you are with a teacher.
No.
And they will, this is how the Prophet ﷺ would recite this particular word. And it's in Surah to Yusuf.
خير. بارك الله فيك شيخنا. Let's take our next call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Yes, am I on television?
You are live and Ask Eman, sister. What's your question?
Okay, brother, my question is that if for medical reasons you need to get medical hypnosis done, is that permissible in Islam?
Okay. Do you have any other question?
No, that's my only question.
بارك الله فيك. تفضل شيخ.
So as a general ruling, hypnosis is not permitted. It's not? No, it's not permitted. There are, the way that it's done, the fatwa of the ulama say that hypnosis is not permitted to as a form of curing or resolving one's situations. Wallahu ta'ala.
سبحان الله. طب خير إن شاء الله. طب we have another question. Do you have any more callers, brothers? Okay, let's take this call inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته أخي الكريم. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair. How are you guys?
والله not too bad. بارك الله فيك. What's your question for us today?
Yeah, it's a simple question, but I'm not sure if it might be turned out complicated. I'm not sure. I just want to know the ruling of fireworks,
The ruling of?
of doing fireworks
Okay.
generally, or doesn't matter if it's celebration or celebration, but is it permissible to do fireworks, like them, and partake in watching them? I can't find this answer anywhere actually.
Right. So let's say, for example, you want to do fireworks for Eid.
For example, then yes.
So that's okay. You want to know if it's okay for us to use fireworks as a method of celebration, right?
Yes.
Right.
With all the doubts possibly around it, the general answer is it permissible or not?
طيب. Any other question?
That's for now, inshallah.
خير. بارك الله فيك. طب شيخنا, and when it comes to the ruling in Islam, when it comes to fireworks itself, so can we use fireworks generally speaking? And if we can use it, can we use it in an example of the celebration of Eid on Eid day?
Yeah. So I'm not aware of any fatwa to say that it's haram to use fireworks. Fireworks may be used for different celebrations around the world in different cultures or different areas, but it's not at the moment now known for anything in particular. It's not known to be religious in any way now.
No.
It's not known to be associated with any particular celebration, but it's done all around the world.
Sure.
So the use of these, wallahu ta'ala, I don't know of any fatwa to say it's haram, so based upon that we know that it's mubah, it's permissible for you to use the fireworks around Eid celebration. Wallahu a'lam.
Because I think a lot of people must understand this question maybe in a different way, and I believe the reason it triggers it, because it comes across as someone who's worshipping the fire when they go around it. Like, you know, when you do a bonfire night, and you got a set of fire in front of it, like in a circle, and you're just around it.
Yeah.
And they start to do fireworks there.
Yeah.
So it's no way related to any method of worshipping or anything like that, is it?
Well, I mean, Muslims, I would assume they're not going to do a big bonfire and then start dancing around it. I would assume that they're not going to do that at Eid. They would just use the fireworks, which, you know, commonly just go up in the air, and they explode, and they look very nice in the eye, in the sky. As for those celebrations, or not even necessarily celebrations, but remembrance for them to where big bonfires are, maybe it's best to avoid that.
Yeah.
It goes under maybe comes under the celebration of different a'yad celebrations. But in principle, the using of the fireworks in allowed or permissible celebrations, then Wallahu a'lam is allowed, inshallah ta'ala.
Barakallahu feek. Shaykhana, we have another question here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it true that Maqam Ibrahim in Mecca has been moved from its original spot?
Yeah, it has been moved. It was originally quite close to the Kaaba itself. During the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he was the Khalifa, that he made a decision to move it further away from the Kaaba, so to allow people to perform tawaf around the Kaaba without with less disturbance. So it was moved by Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, and it was his ijtihad, and had full right to move that, inshallah ta'ala. And even now you can see the hikmah, the wisdom in that while people are performing their tawaf between the Maqam Ibrahim and the Kaaba, beyond that you find people really are quite insistent on praying behind the Maqam Ibrahim, and it can cause some problems.
No.
So it was done. No, it used to be very close to the Kaaba, but now it's further away.
Shaykhna, what do we take from this, or the understanding of this? Maqam Ibrahim itself, we can perform it whether it's in front of it or behind it?
So,
because if it's moved from the original spot, that means it was forward before.
It was close to the Kaaba.
Yeah, so now it's gone to the back. So does that mean I can pray when the Maqam Ibrahim basically is my back? Give my back to it?
No, so the sunnah is that the Prophet ﷺ would pray behind the Maqam Ibrahim. So it's in front of him. And then the Kaaba, of course, would be beyond that.
Right.
But due to the large crowds at certain times, it's almost impossible without causing harm to other Muslims.
Sure.
In the Tawaf area, to pray directly behind or close enough to the Maqam Ibrahim.
No.
So on this, the ulama have given the permission to pray anywhere in the masjid itself. Okay, so it doesn't have to be directly behind. If you are able to do that, alhamdulillah, without harming anybody. But if you can't, then you can pray anywhere. Wallahu a'lam.
I've got a childish question to this. Not childish, childhood question.
Yes.
How was the foot preserved for this long? So obviously we know Ibrahim alayhi salam was here before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how was it preserved from then until the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came?
Yeah, okay, so is this the exact footprint? Maybe it is not, wallahu a'lam.
Right.
Maybe it's not. But the maqam, the place of standing, where Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam stood, to yarfa'u qawa'id min al-bayt, to re-establish the foundations of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is no doubt. Is now affirmed.
No.
But these the actual footprints is unlikely, wallahu a'lam.
Because I don't know, since I was a kid, I've always wondered like how, and as you get older, obviously you start to understand things that logically it's not doable. And I thought to myself.
Similarly, I used to think that when I see the Maqam Ibrahim, and if Ibrahim alayhi salam in fact did stand on something like this, it's very, very far away.
Yeah.
I mean, how big was Ibrahim alayhi salam? I used to think maybe he was not like a normal human being, maybe he was large or something like that. But then I later found out that this Maqam Ibrahim was actually right next to the Kaaba. No.
Sure. Khair. Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. Next question we have from Brother Hamza. It starts with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How can we get rid of sexual desire permanently?
Well, Allah Jalla wa Ala created human beings to have this desire within them. And it is not natural for a person to rid themselves of this permanently. It's not natural for a person to do that. the Prophet ﷺ forbade a person to go through a procedure which would remove their private parts, which may cause them to have this desire. So it's haram. It's not allowed. This is a natural desire in a human being. Now there are halal ways to extinguish from time to time this sexual desire that person has. That is through marriage. So the woman, she will try to find her husband, and similarly the husband will look for his wife, inshallah ta'ala, and then they can have a relationship like this. No, wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. We have a question, inshallah, or more questions that was going to come after the outbreak, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, tune in, inshallah. After the outbreak, I'll give you a teaser what the question is going to be. It's about applying a medicine on your foot that is waterproof. So if you want to perform wudu, what's the opinion in regards to that? So brothers and sisters, tune in, inshallah. After the outbreak, well, we, inshallah, will be able to answer this question. And if you do have any question, please remember to pick up your phone and call us here in our studio on 0203 515 0769. So for me and the Shaykh for now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My respected brothers and sisters, welcome back to your show, Ask Eman. The show gives you the opportunity and the platform, inshallah, to ask us any question in regards to the deen by calling us or WhatsApping us or emailing us, inshallah, on the details that you need to see or you can actually see on your screen, bi'idhnillah. So brothers and sisters, before the ad break, I did ask a question or gave you a hint of what the question is going to be. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If I have an illness on my foot and it requires me to apply a medicine that is waterproof, and this medicine, this treatment has to be done for at least 9 months to clear the medicine, is my wudu and salah still valid?
Bismillah. So in a situation where a person is wearing something over an area where it is required to be washed or wiped in wudu, then what they do, inshallah ta'ala, is make the wudu as usual. And on the area where there is a medicine or there is a plaster or something like that, then all they're required to do is have a wet hand and just to wipe over the top of it. Let's say the plaster here. So you wash all of your the parts of wudu as usual, and then at the end you just simply wipe over the finger like that, and that would be sufficient, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? Or if you had like a plaster cast because you've broken your arm or something like that, okay? And then you just simply wipe over it and just make the wudu as usual and just wipe over the top like that. That would be enough for you, inshallah ta'ala. No.
تبارك الله فيك شيخنا. Another question we have. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa shaykh. Is it sunnah to shave all the hair off a newborn baby girl?
So the ahadith which talk about the shaving of the head refers back to Al-Hasan wal-Husayn radiyallahu anhuma. And this is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Now, the ulama have discussed this as to, is this applicable to girls or is this something specific to boys only? It's a legitimate difference of opinion, wallahu a'lam. But what seems to be more correct is that the texts which are concerning this are amma, general, both to boys and girls.
No.
So one would be within their rights as well to shave the hair of a baby girl just as they would a baby boy. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu fiik, Shaykh. Next question we have starts with Assalamu alaikum. Is looking at the family members' faults and criticizing them, yet failing to look at your own faults and taking yourself into account. It's a sign of hypocrite.
Well, no doubt it's not a good trait to look at the mistakes of others and to criticize others and not to look at your own mistakes. I think there's a couple of issues here. First and foremost is that, حاسبوا أنفسكم قبل أن تحاسبوا, that you should take yourselves to account before you are taken to account by Allah Jalla wa'ala. Okay, something which we as believers, as Muslims, we should do regularly. Think about what we have done and seek Allah Ta'ala's forgiveness. As for the mistakes in others, then subhanallah, this is Allah Azza wa Jalla created us like this. If you find a fault in another person, then you should advise them. And you should not fall into backbiting or slandering. It's quite easy for you just to mention the faults of others without any other intention but only to just backbite. And this is haram. It's not allowed for you to do that. So you should fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever's fallen into this shouldn't be like that. You're not allowed to be like that. Look after your own self. Try to be an upright Muslim and fearing Allah Azza wa Jalla and upholding the obligations of Allah Jalla wa Ala. And if you see a fault in your brother or your sister, then advise them. Ad-din al-nasiha. This is the religion of sincere advice. Advise them in the best way so that they can return to that what is correct. Wallahu a'lam.
Barakallahu fiik, Shaykh. Next question we have from YouTube starts with Assalamu alaikum. If a person usually prays tahajjud, salat, even on Friday night, if they recite Surah Al-Kahf in salah, will it count as their Friday recitation of Surah Al-Kahf, or should they recite it again?
So, with the view that you want to recite Surah Al-Kahf on Friday, and you happen to pray Qiyamul Layl without specifying that you have to pray Qiyamul Layl on the night of Al-Jum'ah, it could be any night, but if you happen to complete Surah Al-Kahf, then of course, alhamdulillah, it's for you. That's your intention. Your intention is to receive that fadilah, that blessing. Then that's sufficient for you, alhamdulillah. There's no need for you to repeat it outside of the salah. You can do it in your salah as well.
So what, performing tahajjud prayers on Friday night is considered as if you recited Surah Al-Kahf on Friday?
No. I understood that they were praying tahajjud and they recited Surah Al-Kahf while in the night prayer.
La, they want to know if they're Friday. You know how people normally say to you, you have to read Surah Al-Kahf on Friday? So this brother or sister is saying, because they usually pray Salat al-Tahajjud every night, but they want to know on Friday night, if they recite Surah Al-Kahf in their salah, does it count as Friday recitation of Surah Al-Kahf?
I didn't just answer that question? I thought I just answered that question.
Confusing me, no. I'm saying, like, if they recite Surah Al-Kahf in a night prayer, is it considered as if they recited Surah Al-Kahf on a Friday night?
Yeah, if it happens to be Friday night or Friday. Well,
but
of course, the Friday.
I thought Surah Al-Kahf has to be certain time. So, for example, from Fajr all the way to Maghrib, no?
No, it can be, when I say Friday night, we say Friday night, the night of Jumu'ah, we're talking technically Thursday night for us, okay? Because Islamically, the night precedes the day.
Sure.
So on Thursday night, after Salat al-Maghrib, this is called the night of Al-Jumu'ah. So if you recited Surah Al-Kahf in the night time, before the daytime, then that's no problem. The ghusl has to be done after Fajr.
I was going to get to that as
well. The ghusl has to be done after Fajr.
Yeah.
But Surah Al-Kahf can be recited the night previous, on the night of Jumu'ah, no problem, inshallah.
What a blessing if you can actually do it in tashahhud, like night prayers. This would be great, subhanAllah. I never thought of doing that, subhanAllah. Okay, khair, inshallah. Barakallah feek, Shaykh. The next question we have, I don't know if this is real name or not, but Black Mirror. It's from India. It says that whenever we go into an exam, we've been ordered to remove the covering of the head, face, but I am a practicing niqabi, and my parents and my family are looking forward for me to get into school. Now they want to know, is it permissible for them to take it off, because it's part of the examination board is to have to take the niqab and scarf off when they do the exams. I don't know what country that is.
Okay, so
India.
on situations like this, it's always best to ask the ulama of the country that you are in, because there may be certain things that I'm unaware of concerning specific to your circumstances or the place that you are in.
No.
Okay, so what I would say is to speak to the ulama of Hind, to speak to the scholars of India, and maybe to find fatwa concerning that. But maybe some, I'm not giving fatwa as it were, but one has to be aware, if you're going to attend a school which requires you to remove your hijab, what is the school like anyway?
No.
So if they require you to attend a school with, they at times may ask you to remove the niqab. If that's the law of the country, then you don't have much choice in that. But to remove the hijab, this is something which is extremely important for us as Muslims, Muslimat, that to wear their hijab is something which it is, is in general, you don't compromise this, unless a person fears for their wealth or their life or something like this. These are exceptional issues. But to attend a school which requires you to remove the niqab and to remove the hijab, I mean, then you have to ask yourself, what is then the school environment going to be like for you when you go to that school? Do they require you to remove the hijab and to remove the niqab and whatnot? This is something maybe you really need to look into. But like I said, maybe there's specific or exceptional circumstances for a particular community that I'm unaware of. So may Allah make it easy for us all.
Barakallahu feek. Shaykhana, we got a caller, inshallah. Let's take this caller, brothers. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ask Eman. So we've lost a caller, inshallah. Shaykhana, we have another question from brother Adil on YouTube. Is asking why sometimes I feel disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Well, like all of us, subhanallah, there are times when we feel our iman is strong, we feel close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there are other times where maybe we don't feel so close. Now, those times where I feel a little bit far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that I'm not comfortable, then three things I'll mention to you. Okay, the first thing is to increase istighfar, to increase Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask Allah as well for forgiveness. And don't just take my word for it, that you will do it and you will see an amazing difference bi'idhnillah ta'ala, okay? And secondly is, and it's kind of the same as the third one really, is to increase in some good deeds, simple good deeds, okay? If you're feeling like this, then open the Quran and to start to recite the Quran. Recite the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, you will see an amazing change in the way that you feel and the effect and the impact that the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can have on you.
No.
And also maybe if you're not a person who's usually offering some sunan prayers, try to offer some more sunan prayers, like the 2 Salatul Duha every morning. Okay, after the sunrise, around 9 a.m., 8 a.m., just pray 2 rak'ah and you'll feel a big difference. That you don't usually do something, subhanallah, but there's a great reward for that. Likewise, these sunan prayers that are attached to the obligatory prayers, okay, maybe give some charity and seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help. All of these things, bi'idhnillah, will go a long way to resolving your situation. May Allah as well make it easy for you and for any Muslim who's going through such a situation. Ameen.
40 seconds, Shaykhana. The istighfar that you mentioned, what kind of istighfar? Is it astaghfirullah or astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk? What kind of istighfar?
Yeah, so the different ways you can say astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. Whatever authentic words we got from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then these are the words that you should be using, inshallah ta'ala. May Allah azza wa jalla forgive us all.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykhana. May Allah reward you for being here. And brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank you for taking part on the show. And for our brothers who are working behind the scene, which a lot of people do not appreciate what they do. So I'd like to thank them as well. So brothers and sisters, join us inshallah for more Ask Eman. Until next time, from me and the Shaykh for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.